Welcome back. I will probably, I'll video this as if I'm going to post them like I have been, but I'll probably simply take this and do a sped up one video of this entire painting. I've done that once before. I've just done so much yapping here lately, y'all probably sick of it. I do have one number 8, and I actually went to Michael's and bought a couple brushes, and like a moron, did not realize or forgot that I've got 6s and I've got 10s, and I don't have 8s. In a painting like this, that's the struggle. So that is a 10. That is a 6, and I did buy this at Michael's. It's kind of schmancy. It's schmancy. It's the same exact style of brush. It's just $1 more. Are the bristles the same? Probably. It's just got a metallic handle. Feels different. So I love these brushes. Big fan. These are $3.99. I think this was $4.99. I've had this one forever. Don't really use it. It's a bright. It's not even a long flat. It's a short flat, but it's the size I kindly need for this painting to get in here and cover decent. But you know, you don't want it. There's enough in here that number 10 is a little big. Again, I'll just sit here and yap as if you're going to be listening to me. I would guess you're probably not going to be. Probably wouldn't, no matter how I did it. But hey, that's okay. It's all right. There's maybe just a few, 2, 3, 4 people that watch most of them, I think. If I post 5 videos, you know, they'll watch most all of them. Most people, and I don't blame them, most people just go to the first one and last one. It's okay. It's all right. That sky is a little more vibrant than what I'm putting it down as, just a smidge. So I'm going to do something that I rarely ever do. You guessed it. I am going to get most of this off of here. Take it in my hand, trust me. Trust me. Little bits of that paper towel. Oh, kill me. Little tiny bits of that paper towel pulled off. Little fibers. Oh, dude, that sucks. Oh, I'll be fighting that from now on if I don't wipe them off. These are some cheesy little boards I got on Amazon. For some reason, Michael's, which is where I normally get my board, they're a little bit thicker. When they're 8 by 10, they don't matter as much because they're not going to bend, warp much. Now, if you get a 16 by 20, you don't want these boards. You don't want to do these little, you know, cardboard back dudes. The 8 by 10s are fine. But I just got these, they were basically, I think I got 12 for $15 or something. But for our purposes, they are triple gesso primed and, you know, canvas. They'd be all right. What I was going to do, and we found this out last time, if you remember, those that have been around for a while, the ultramarine blue is what I always use. But I did introduce the cyanine blue-green shade, sure. But it will create, you don't need much. This is very overpowering stuff, crazy. But it will make a little bit more vibrant sky, I believe. where the ultramarine does a decent job, but it's a little more what I would call cloudy. A little grayer day, if you will. So let's see what this does. Let's see, it's almost got a, because it's green shade, it's almost got a little teal look to it. Which I'm all right with. Okay, I'm all right with that. Now I'm just going to pick up pure white now, and the dirty brush. So I'm stepping back and thinking, if those figures were in, is that all I need? Is that really bright enough? Don't like to get too carried away. I want the background to be accurate. I want the day, to be as it was this day, but I don't want the story to be about the sky. It just needs to be a sunny, nice, pretty day. Kids are out playing soccer. When I was, our kids were growing up, when I was in school 4,000 years ago, there was no soccer team. I went to Western Hills here in Frankfurt. We didn't have no soccer. And when it became popular, I was a football player, threw shot and discus and manly stuff. So I remember thinking, soccer, the heck, all that's going to do is ruin, the important sports like football. And they're going to, soccer is going to pull all these athletes off the football field where they belong. And I'm actually being serious when I kind of thought that, just like I used to think that people that painted were just not athletic enough to play sports, and that's why they painted. And it's a dumb way to be, but I was a dumb kid. And, having kids that went through, played soccer, and that looked like more fun to me, actually, than, I'll pick on baseball for a second. Kids this age, sticking them in the outfield, and, let's be honest, the coach's kid plays pitcher, who they get all the balls hit to them, and they don't rotate the kids in and out like they ought to. Some don't, and kids get bored. They're out there chasing butterflies and stuff, and as parents, you're like, pay attention, Matthew, what are you doing? You need to pay attention. Well, hell, who the hell wouldn't get bored, an hour standing out there and never having a ball hit to you? But soccer, not that I'm a huge soccer fan, I'm trying to promote one or the other. Kids should do what they want. As long as they're doing something, I think it's good. But I'll be honest, at least soccer, there's action happening all the time, and the majority of all the kids on the field are going, they're running, they're living, they're being active. And some of the sports, I think we've got it screwed up. It's if I was a kid, I'd rather play soccer, to be honest with you. I know it looks like chaos, and it kind of is, but there's an not the highlights, but there's an undertone that is darker, right? Now the drawing is obviously the most important thing we got going on here, and there's different ways most people struggle, as I do. It's not like this stuff comes easy. I work at it. It takes a while to get this stuff drawn in and painted in. But there was a time, and it's for each person to figure out their own way and what they struggle with. My struggle is keeping the shapes, and it's, as my paintings fall apart or I struggle, it ends up, for the most part, I lose the drawing. And so because of that, I do kind of paint up to stuff, and I do try to lose it and, paint over it, if you will, like, go over, make that smaller. It's a lot bigger than that. But I don't want to lose the shapes in the drawing because I've spent a while getting that. Now, as you all have seen, it's not like I'm a master at that, and there's stuff I've got drawn in here that's wrong, I'm sure. And as you all have seen, as this has transpired, I fix that as I'm going, or I'll struggle and I'll go, now I realize the drawing was wrong, which is fine. But some folks do better gridding it out, and that's what you see. I didn't really mention that. See this grid? This is a piece of software actually that I have on my phone that I took this picture, which is not exactly this size, and I made it 8 by 10 perfectly. I put them kind of where I wanted them to be, and I didn't draw lines on here, but if you notice, Matthew smack dab in the third. Andrew exists on that half of the third, right? This line is the horizon line. The trees is about, so I really didn't have to draw those lines on here, but there are some of these that I sketched out. If I can find one real quick, probably a couple of them, to be honest with you, yeah, that I did. This is Andrew lifting a stone. I did, and they're crude, but I did kind of do that to help me. It's more complex shape. So I don't do that very often at all, but I do, even if I didn't cut these, because I've never used this software until really right now, but it is kind of helpful. But this is how I would think, before I ever use this stuff. It's cutting it up like that. Oh yeah. But to me, it makes sense. All of the paintings I've ever done are rectangles. They're not perfect squares. Whether it's an 8 by 10 or a 10 by 8 or 11 by 16 or 16 by 20, 11 by 14, doesn't matter. 3 feet by 4 feet. The shorter distance I'll cut into thirds, and the longer one I cut into quarters. It just kind of makes sense to me. Don't know why. So as this recedes, all I'm going to do, and I'll have to mix more paint because there's not much on here, I'm going to add a little bit of white, which does two things. It kills the chroma, so it makes it less saturated, less vibrant, because I don't want it to be this green. And as it goes away, there's more atmosphere. It's subtle, but I'll probably push it more here than what we see there. This is definitely more saturated. It's greener, richer green than that back there. And now up in the trees, a little different story. So right now I'm okay with this being a big blocked in area. It does not need to have little blades of grass and all that stuff, but I just want to make sure I get this, as you know, we get the painting covered, the canvas covered. And we want to get rid of this transition here. And we'll, again, this is underpainting. We're going to paint over all this stuff, right? Again, I always say this is the part that when I post these videos and they're about this much done, it's like, I'm surprised people, and maybe it does. Maybe people just quit watching going, this guy sucks. Because, this is not that impressive looking, but I am not an artist. There are artists out there, I'm not one of them, that every facet of the painting looks awesome. And that's commendable. If you can paint that way, I just can't. I gotta figure my way around. Make mistakes. Try not to make them, but know I'm making them. I'm very much okay that the odds are I'm screwing up. A drawing's wrong or paint's wrong. Ooh, that shoulder. Golly, I thought I took enough time off. Ooh, that shoulder. But paint as if I've got it all right. I'm just positive every bit of this is right, even though in the back of my mind I know I probably don't have it. But I want to paint like I got it right. But be prepared. I'm always mentally prepared that I'm going to draw over every bit of this, paint over every bit of it, maybe draw it again. As you all have seen, I have had to stop and completely redraw an area of the painting. And it's all right. Oh, wow, look at that. Lordy mercy. But the key, my goal is not to paint, miraculous, woo people. Oh my gosh, John, you're so fabulous. Look how quickly you knocked that out or anything like that. Mine is when it's done, I'm satisfied with it. I'm happy with it. That's my goal. So the trees, if we close our eyes, step back and squint a little bit, this is much lighter than this. And now don't try to separate the highlights from the darks. Let your eyes close. See, this is big masses. Of course, there's breaks in this right here. And I normally am not a big fan. I am not a big fan of having these little sky holes. There's a lot of artists that do that, which is fine. Just not my jam. I know it sounds dumb, but it gets a little cutesy to me sometimes when you put these little holes in there. And again, are they there? They are there. Silly not to put them in. So I added black to that. The blue was a little much. Now my goal, and again, I normally never paint with a flat or a bright, which is fine. I shape this stuff a little bit, I don't mean better, but differently with a filbert, which is what I normally. But at the end of this painting, all that matters is that these things look like trees. And I don't really care if they're perfect. It's not going to really make or break the story if they're not awesome. And if they don't match this perfectly, doesn't matter. This is doing okay. This is doing all right. I'm sure my big fat hand's in the way. Sorry about that. Good enough. Don't sweat this stuff. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. It's a good thing because I'm not. Try to have fun. Honest to goodness, I know I act silly sometimes, but just try to enjoy this. The end product is going to be so much better if you figure out a way to have fun with this stuff and not, just don't be stressed. Don't go, oh my God, it's so hard, I can't do it, I'm not having fun. Well, hell, you won't paint if you're not having fun. Let's see, did I lose that shoulder? I guess, did I lose that? Yeah, I did, didn't I? So I find it again. And there's, God, when you know it, there's a little bit of that right there, and there's a little bit of it right in there. Look at that big brush. Wow. That sucked. It's all good. She's all good. Beautimous. Beautimous. So, we don't have that line very good, do we? So I will straighten that up, because it's kind of important that, you know, this is kind of a soccer field, so the horizon, even though, and this is a field too, I see the edge of a goal, so this should be very sharp. You know, the dad burn it. Some more paintings I've been thinking about. Why do I challenge myself like this? Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. Painting is so hard. I'm going to put that brush up. Again, remember, we're just blocking in. I did buy one of these, which I've always been intrigued by. Never used one, never had one. And you see, it's called, I think it's a dagger, maybe is what they call it. But it's got this chiseled tip. It's a flat that's cut like this, but you know, to me it's interesting because you can block it in and then you can be really detailed. I'm not going to use it for this, but I did want to show it to you. Let's, God, I can't find the right size brush. Is this one too small? Yeah, that's too small. Guess we'll just go with the old number 6. The old number 6. Is that what that is? Yeah. 6. It's called a Zen. A Zen. Let's see. Red. Obviously some red, right? There's some red. There's a little white. Probably a little yellow even in that. Never know. Never know till you do it. Is it really important? Probably not. No one that ever played on that team is probably going to look at this and go, that wasn't the real color of our jerseys. John, you suck. Maybe they do say that. I don't know. They might. Gotta be silly to do this crap. I'm telling you, gotta be silly. Crazy. So this shoulder we're gonna have to paint several times. I can already tell. I guess it comes out that far. Oh, this is gonna be really bright. There's a break right here. There's a sharp edge that I'm going to struggle to get, but by golly, I'm going to get it. But I ain't going to get it right now. And I don't want him to look like he's, you know, a 20-year-old football player, because that's kind of how this is shaping. I got that drawn wrong. A little wide at the top. We'll put those trees in to pull that, because I mean, this is a little boy. It's my little boy, but it is a little boy, and he can't look like a strong man or something, because that's kind of how this was playing out to me anyway. It's part of the drawing. What's wrong? It's normally the drawing. And when I say drawing, I mean shapes. There's shapes. That's all this is. It's a bunch of shapes that are put together in such a way that it makes that little boy. fix that very good, did I? That's all right. And it's gonna end up with more orange in it, I can already tell. We'll probably switch from the red, the medium red, to light red. But for this underblocking, we'll be fine. You know we'll get it. We won't stop until we get it. Drawing's wrong. Oh well. Oh well. Have fun. Don't hate. Don't go hating. Don't you go hating. Dark there. This arm is darker. It's wet, so we can paint into that. Here. That's darker. Again, I don't care if the color is right at the moment. I'm just trying to get this to have a little form. A little bit of form. Squinting, always squinting at this stage. You should really probably squint all the time and not worry about any detail. Really ever. I know that sounds dumb, but too lost in the details. We always get too lost in the details. Just keeping the brush dirty. No need to clean it out. Pure black. I don't do that often, as you all know, but hey, the boy got black britches on. That's pretty black. It's not, I mean, when you look, you go, oh my gosh, that is just black. And you see that it's really not that black. Maybe in spots it is, but maybe in spots. Big brush, too big, too big. The brush is too big. You knew that. You knew it was too big when I grabbed it. Gotta get way, way back. Gosh, that shirt looks long, doesn't it? Does that shirt look long? Hard to tell. Hard to tell. We'll see. We'll let this play out. We're going to let this play out. Shadows aren't black, just to let you know. Don't do that. You're an idiot, John. Yeah, thank you. That's pretty mean. All right. Big brush. Too big. Yes, it is. Brush is too big. Yes, it is. So that I know that's gray. There's a little black behind it, just a little bit. Bottom of his shoe is black. There's a trash can there. There's something out here. Whoops, something out there. There's other stuff. There's a kid right here. Black shorts. Just making little footnotes to myself. This shadow goes up a little more, but it's all right. It kind of actually comes up a little bit. I don't like using black. Not for this kind of stuff, but for some reason, I had it on my brush and it felt like putting it down. God, that shirt looks too long. Is it though? Is it though? So his hand, if that's right, maybe it is a little too long. If that's right, it does come down a little bit. It's probably not far off. Probably not far off. Let's see here. I'm gonna just do a little bit more blocking, and then I'm gonna be done. I'm out of practice, fellas. So I'm gonna take. Oh wow! Look at that whitehead stuff in it. That's unfortunate. But painting white on white is kind of rough. You can't see what you're doing at all. But I want to cover the canvas. We'll make that look all nice and stuff eventually. So put a little bit of, let's put a little bit of ultramarine in that. See what this looks like. You don't have enough water. You won't hear me say that very often. Don't have enough water. Don't have enough paint. So underneath his chin, this goes like that. Comes down a little more than I got it. Maybe his neck does come up a bit. I don't know. We'll have to see. I can't get that stuff right until we get more of him in. So this does that. Drawing. I'm drawing with my paintbrush. This whole side is in shadow. There's a little something there. A little something here, and then the whole side here. Right? And there's little bits of stuff, little things, but we'll get those later, and we'll see how that reads. Yes, it reads. Yeah, I can live with it. Can you? So let's take. That is an interesting color of blue on that ball. That's pretty close. So let's just go ahead